Hey, this is Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent. I want to look with you at a home that's located in Orland Park, Illinois. This is a home that is on the market. The sellers allowed for the home inspector for a buyer to come in and do an inspection. And during the inspection, the home inspector flagged the basement for a mold issue. I just wanted to make a point here of showing you the outside of the drywall or the finished side, because there's really nothing apparent or visible that would tell you that there's a mold issue until we get down into the crawl space and look at the back side of the drywall. Now, once you're in the space here, you can see that the wall is insulated with batted insulation. It has rolled out insulation in the walls, and it's got a paper back to it. But when we pull the actual insulation itself away from the drywall, you'll notice that there has been mold that's developed on the back side of the walls. So at some point in the past, some moisture had gotten into this basement, and the drywall got wet. And most likely because the drywall got wet, the insulation pressed up against that wet drywall allowed for a breeding ground or a good area for mold growth to develop, because it probably did not dry out relatively quickly. Now, this is some drywall that comes down along the side wall of a staircase, but as you can see, it can be deceiving because there was no visible mold on the finished side or in the basement of the home. Now, when we talk about mold, there are three different categories we put materials in. You've got porous, which is the drywall, trim, insulation, fiberboard paneling, anything that would be considered porous, that's a building material. We then have semi-porous materials like the wood framing, and non-porous like the concrete foundation walls and floor that would make up a home. Now, once we broke the materials down into their respective categories, we talk about the actual procedures. We would set up containment in the basement like this using poly sheeting or plastic sheeting, and then we would install an air scrubber, which is a machine that would run all the air through HEPA filtration and keep the air from exchanging with the rest of the living space. We then would remove all of the materials that are classified as porous, so the drywall, trim, insulation, those items get removed and disposed. And then the semi-porous and non-porous surfaces get treated with a biocide to kill the mold, scrubbed down and coated with a mold-resistant coating. Now, here's a still shot of what a wall like this would look like once it's been remediated. You can see that the porous material, the drywall, trim, and insulation have been completely removed and discarded. The surfaces that were exposed then, the framing and the foundation wall, were treated with a biocide, physically scrubbed down, and then coated with a white acrylic-based mold-resistant coating. Now, I want to take a look at one piece of equipment that would set a mold remediation contractor apart from Joe Handyman, and that is a air scrubber, which is a machine that would work towards rectifying the air quality issues in a home that's been affected with mold.